What's up, kids? I thought I'd come to you on this Sunday afternoon and share something with you that has hit me over the last 7 days or so. I'm reading this book, Success Principles by Jack Canfield. And I know some of you are out there reading it as well. I have the 10th anniversary edition. Sorry for the shaky camera. I don't know. I'll try to work on that. On page 24, he says, Jack Canfield says, "You don't want to get to the top of the ladder only to find you had it leaning against the wrong wall." Do you have your ladder leaning against the wrong wall? Do you know what that means? Do you know how to apply that question and the subsequent answer to your life? Here's two stories that I think might help put things into perspective for you. So the first one is, when I was at Dell, I worked with a lot of people who were hungry to climb the, quote, corporate ladder. Side note, the corporate ladder does not exist. You will never get to the top of that company unless you own it. Just saying. So there were a lot of people that wanted to climb the corporate ladder. I worked with a young girl who wanted to go and back and get her master's degree in business so that she could climb this corporate ladder. It's not I don't think it's a coincidence that he talks about and refers to a ladder, and we call it this corporate ladder as well. But I talked to a lot of people from maybe ages 25 to 55, right? And these people, career-driven people, most of them fairly smart, most of them fairly educated, they would say things like, in 5 to 6 years, I'll get promoted. And then I'll get to that job and I'll work, 4 to 5 years and I'll be eligible for a promotion. And then at that job, I'll work 6 to 8 years and then I'll get promoted. And all of a sudden, they don't actually do the math. They don't add up all of these 5 to 6 year, 6 to 8 year increments. But they've just whittled away 20 to 25, sometimes 30 years of their life. In 30 years, they will get promoted to middle management if they do everything right, if they don't piss anybody off, and if they have all of their accolades and they've made the right networks or built the right network and they've made friends with the right people. And I had people, my managers even, and a lot of my friends were older than me, and they were already in their mid-40s. So we're talking like 65 years old. You don't want to be working when you're 65 years old, especially not in middle management. We work harder to get promoted to make less money and work more hours. That sounds like crap. So is that you? Are you climbing a ladder that is against the wrong wall? Let me give you another example. I had the opportunity to coach a guy last week, and he had, we'll just call it scholarship money. And he was thinking that he could go back to school and get a master's degree or a PhD so that he could be promoted higher into his organization. Those degrees, those certificates or whatever, were kind of the barrier to entry to get promoted. And then I hit pause on that conversation for half a second, and I said, if you could do anything that you wanted, what would that be? And his answer was not at the top of the ladder that he was currently on. Sometimes I think we find ourselves going through the motions and doing the things that will get us further in our, what we call it, a career, which in this analogy, it's just further rungs up this ladder, right? But the ladder's going somewhere that we don't want to go. Just something to think about. Is the ladder you're on taking you up to a place that you will be happy once you get there? So this guy wanted to go back to school, get an education so that he could ultimately be at the top of a wall that he did not want to be on top of. So let me tell you a few things. It's never too late to start over. It's never too late to say this path is the wrong one. I did a blog post on ElloryWells.com. It's something about being too old to start. There's a lot of successful companies out there that were started by people over the age of 50. It's not too late for you to start. Yes, you may have obligations. Yes, you may have opportunities where you are, but are those opportunities going in the right direction? Yes, you might have responsibilities, but is the path you're on, are the actions that you are taking simply getting you up a ladder that you don't actually want to be on? It is not too late to say, you know what? I'm not leading the life that I wanted to live. I'm going to get down off this ladder and I'm going to move it against a wall I actually want to be on top of. So let me read this quote from Success Principles, Jack Canfield, one more time for you. And you be the judge. If you're on the right ladder, if you're going up the right wall, I'd say bravo. If you're not, it's time to do something today to change it. He says, you don't want to get to the top of the ladder only to find you had it leaning against the wrong wall. Is your ladder leaning against the right wall? I hope it is. Cheers.